I'm doing this video for one reason and one reason only. But really, existential fiction is one of the most popular gateways into philosophy. Whether it be from Camus, Dostoevsky, or Sartre, these more accessible works convey messages through a narrative that might entice one to dig deeper. In this video, we're going to be looking at Jean-Paul Sartre's play No Exit, and identify one of the key philosophical themes he puts in there. And don't worry about extreme spoilers because we're only going over the basics. I highly recommend you read this yourself because it is pretty short. So No Exit is a play about three people stuck in hell. We have Garcin, our main character and the guy we'll be looking at most. We have Inez, and we have Estelle. There's also a valet character, but who cares about him? Now that we have our characters, let's talk about our setting, hell. When it comes to hell, you might picture a lake of fire and torture devices. But here, hell is just a room. All three characters are shuffled into a room with 3 couches and a bronze ornament standing on a mantelpiece. Now, a couple of things to note about this hell. For one, it's eternal, obviously. For two, there is a door to this room, but it's locked shut and won't open. And finally, the characters have the ability to mentally see what's going on Earth. For example, they're able to witness their funeral and see what people are saying about them. Now, the arguably biggest philosophical insight comes from the character of Garcin. He's a journalist from Rio who refuses to fight in a war and is executed as a result. Specifically, he tries fleeing to Mexico to try to avoid the war but is captured and killed. Garcin is primarily concerned with one thing, whether or not he is a coward. By running away, does that make him a coward? Should he have stayed in Rio and faced his punishment head on? Is that bravery? He's unable to decide for himself whether or not he's a coward, and therefore seeks someone else to define him. At one point, he's even making out with one of the other characters, but his mind is still focused on Earth and what other people are saying about him. He even stops embracing this girl and flat out asks her to define him. Of course. Well, Estelle, am I a coward? How can I say? Don't be so unreasonable, darling. I can't put myself in your skin. You must decide that for yourself. I can't decide. In existential philosophy, there's a strong emphasis on you determining who you are. Existence precedes essence, meaning your essence or meaning is not defined before you live by some external force, but rather, by living and existing, you determine your values and identity. It's not given to you by God or nature or science. You are the master of your identity. But Garcin here is fully reliant on something external to define him. Now, do external things inform how we identify? Absolutely. But Garcin is rejecting all personal responsibility in forming his identity, and is instead desperately grasping at it through others. 1,000 of them are proclaiming I'm a coward. But what do numbers matter? If there's someone, just one person, to say quite positively I did not run away, that I'm not the sort who runs away, that I'm brave and decent and the rest well, that one person's faith would save me. Eventually, he realizes Estelle, the girl he's been talking to, is only telling him he's not a coward without really meaning it, to him anyways. Fed up, Garcin reaches for the door and magically, it opens. He has an opportunity, it seems, to escape hell. Now that he realizes that he can't be defined by others here, he's granted freedom. Perhaps this is Sartre saying that our rejection of others' interpretations of us is a sort of freedom. There's just one problem. Garcin believes that the third character, Inez, knows what true cowardice is, and he then wants her to tell him that he's not a coward. With that desire to be defined by others reignited, Garcin shuts the door to his freedom. At this point, he tries to convince Inez to tell him that he's not a coward, but she doesn't budge. She kinda hates him for making out with Estelle cause Inez was feeling her, so she's a bit jealous. So realizing that he won't get the identification he desires from the other two in the room, Garcin says the famous line in the play, "Hell is other people." Now, this quote has been misused to say people suck or human nature is evil, but that's not what I think Sartre is saying. Sartre is making a point about other people defining us instead of us having the power to define ourselves. We shouldn't accept these identities given to us by the external, but we should work to cultivate our own identities through life and choice. That's how I understand it anyway, and there's a lot more in this play, but again, it's less than 40 pages, and you can knock it out in an afternoon, so have at it. I believe in you. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more philosophy content. And with that, I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day.